Good afternoon, class. I hope you guys are doing great right now. So this afternoon, I will be going to discuss about a warm front. But before that, allow me to define first what is a warm front. So a simple warm front is a foremost boundary of a homogeneous warm air mass. So the edge of a mass of warmer air moving into a region of cooler air and higher density. So with the given definition, this warm front is basically a gradual increase in the temperature and can be associated with overcast rain. So meaning to say, the warm front is the transition from cooler air to warmer air is more gradual sa aspect ng warm front compared sa rapid changes associated with a cold front. That is why we experience a warm front. A warm front occurs when a cold air mass replaces with warm air mass that pushes up over the cold air. So a warm front moves more slowly than cold air front because the cold dense air is tougher to push over warm front that brings humid moist air to increase temperature and light precipitation. How a warm front is formed? A warm front is formed only from a large air mass becomes a warm air mass. So in meteorology, it says in the study that an air mass is defined as a volume of air with a relatively uniform temperature and humidity. However, the mass characteristics or the air mass characteristics such as temperature and humidity depends only on the latitude they occupy and the surface below them. So an air mass becomes relatively uniform after remaining over a certain terrain or a region for an extended period. So if an air mass remains near the equator for a time, it will increase in temperature. So as increasing temperature throughout the air over the region becomes relatively even, it becomes a warm air mass. Therefore, if the air begins to move and collide with other cooler air masses, it will form a warm front at the boundary between the masses so that it basically a warm front is formed. In connection with the warm front, stormy weather is a common condition that produced by the warm front because as the warm air mass at the surface rises above the cooler air mass, it makes clouds and storms and eventually it forms a stormy weather condition. Warm front move more slowly than cold front because it is more difficult for the warm air to push the cold air dense air across the Earth's surface, meaning to say that a warm front often form on the east side of low pressure systems where warmer air from the south is pushed the north. So you will see often see high clouds like cirrus, cirrostratus, and middle clouds like altostratus ahead of a warm front. Okay, these clouds form in the warm air that is high above the cool air. As the front passes over an area, the clouds become lower and rain is likely. There can be thunderstorm around the warm front if the air is unstable. A warm front is the leading edge of warm air mass that is replacing a colder air mass. So the weather map symbol for warm front is depicted by a red line with half moon, pointing the direction of its motion. This simply means that because of clouds lower and thicken as the warm front approaches, bringing several hours of light to moderate rain, the temperature will be in the 50s with winds from the east. So as the warm front passes, the rain ends. Skies become partly cloudy and temperatures warm into the mid-70s. Therefore, the wind becomes gusty from the south and there are instances that a few hours later, a line of thunderstorms sweeps across the area just ahead of the cold front. After the rain ends and the front passes, winds shift to the northwest, temperature fall into the 40s, so skies will be clear. Because of warm fronts aren't as dense or powerful as cold fronts, they bring more moderate and long-lasting weather patterns which help people in a good or sometimes in a bad way. Warm fronts can occur in various countries around the world as they are associated with movement of warm air mass replacing a colder air mass. Therefore, warm fronts can be found in variety of climate and regions. It is not limited to specific countries but rather depends on weather patterns and atmospheric conditions. Regions with diverse weather patterns such as mid-latitude often experience a warm front. Those countries from the mid-latitude are Europe, North Asia, and some part of North America. One interesting fact about warm front is it brings is stormy weather. And it is giving sa mga taong kagaya ko na mahilig matulog kapag stormy yung weather natin. So, I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you and have a blessed day.